So I used to love mountain climbing. When I lived in Colorado a few years ago, we climbed several 14ers and it was a super fun and exhilarating and also, painful process. And I learned many valuable lessons that I thought we could kind of equate to our journey here in life. Life is full of like peaks and valleys and switchbacks where sometimes we're starting to wonder whether we're still making progress or are we like descending now? Are we backtracking? And so there's a few things that I thought might help us on our journeys. Number one that I would suggest is assessing what we're carrying in our backpack before you start on this journey. Well, we've already started, but from this point on, and when you're planning for one of these mountain climbing adventures, I can always tend to overpack because I like to imagine every possible scenario, like what if this happens, or somebody cuts themselves open and we need all these bandages and supplies, or we get stuck there and we need all this extra food, and I might end up packing way more than we ever even end up using. And so that can end up being a burden rather than a benefit at that point. And so it's important to assess what we're carrying with us and making sure that it's actually helping us on our journey instead of holding us back. And so some of the things I was thinking that we might be carrying through in life, that are not allowing us to move forward are things like, self-doubt or limiting beliefs, just not having confidence in our ability to get there to where we want to go, and other negative attributes like jealousy or anger, resentment, things like that. And so if we notice we're carrying any of those around, just doing the work to get rid of those from our life, from our backpack. And then there's other positive tools and things that are beneficial to bring along with us, that can be really empowering and crucial really to survival, just like water and energy bars and food are going to be necessary for the trip if it's a long expedition. The same goes true of our journey through life. Like there's certain things that are crucial, keeping positive mental energy, keeping that resilience alive. And one thing that I like to do every morning to just kind of pep myself up and keep that positive mental attitude is I do a gratitude journal. I personally pray, but if that's not your thing, just having gratitude in general, for others, for the universe, for whatever good is in your life, then that's really important as well. I like to do positive quotes every day and positive affirmations, and I have like a separate journal for each one, and I find like writing it down actually really helps ingrain it into my head. Like it's good to read the positive quotes, but if I write down one or two new ones at least every day, then it helps me to kind of like ingrain it inside myself. And the same with the affirmations, just pick out a couple that you really want to focus on that day that speak to you and writing them down. It's like when you got in trouble and your teacher made you write, like, I will not speak in class 100 times on the chalkboard. It's because it really ingrains it into your psyche. So keeping those positive tools are just as important as, not carrying around the burdensome ones. And then, resting when you need, like that's important. You can't just burn yourself out. If you're just going so hardcore and not pacing yourself, you're going to end up getting injured or just not able to move forward. There's elevation changes and life can be just too fast for us sometimes, or we have to reassess our pace, reassess if we're going the right direction, things like that. So making sure to rest when needed and, kind of sharpening the saw so that we're more effective, and doing that self-care as necessary. Another thing is don't go it alone, just like it's not safe to climb a mountain by yourself because of multiple potential dangers, could be cougars or bears or, falling off a cliff or avalanche and not having anybody aware that you're missing. We don't want to go through life alone. I have always been a little overly independent and don't like to depend on others. And so maybe made the mistake of just trusting in my own abilities too much, but we all need that mental and emotional support. And it's really important to have those connections with others so they can support us and we can support them. You know, we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to thrive like as a community. And so we need to offer our support to each other, and that's how we'll all be able to grow better and more effectively. Another thing that I found the hard way is there's no growth at the top of a mountain. After you get past about 12,000 feet, you know, that's like tree line. And suddenly, if you have to use the restroom, you're in trouble because all the pine trees have disappeared. And it's literally just like rocks at that point. It's too high elevation. There's not enough oxygen and nutrients, I guess, for plants to survive. So it's just rocky, sandy mountain. And so it's interesting that everybody is excited to get to the top of the mountain. And sure, there's like beautiful views up there, but to me, the most beautiful parts of the mountain are really in the journey, you know, along those difficult roads, those difficult paths, you know, while we're experiencing some of that pain and the drudgery and just trying to put one foot in front of the other, that's also where we can experience the growth, the beauty around us. And so, you know, again, no growth at the top of the mountain. We all want to like be free of problems and overcome all our challenges, and ideally we overcome a lot of them, but there's always going to be more in front of us. And so, you know, when we are able to get to the peak of a mountain, you know, the trick is to, you know, live with gratitude and be grateful for that opportunity, for that small reprieve of enduring the challenges for the short period that you're probably gonna get to have that, because ultimately we're gonna have more. But just, you know, being able to glimpse where we want to go next, see the next peak in front of us and be like, okay, I got this. I summited this one. I can do the next one. And, you know, just empowering ourselves, reminding ourselves of our capabilities, and then just, you know, start moving really. Like it's fun to plan these trips, and it's fun to think about them, and it can be easy to just keep procrastinating it and putting it off and saying, oh yeah, we'll do that next year, we'll get to it sometime, but not actually starting on the journey. You know, we're never going to accomplish our goals or make progress towards certain things that we want to get to in life if we don't just finally start. You know, sometimes we want everything to be so perfect, like have everything worked out, all the details, or, oh, well, I'm not quite sure how I'll accomplish this part, or how this, you know, how I'll manage this thing over here. But we just got to start, and some stuff will work itself out and we'll navigate it, and, you know, maybe need to make changes along the way. But if we don't just start, then we're just going to end up procrastinating and making excuses and not really ever getting to where we want to go. So we just got to set our minds to go and do and be willing to put the effort in, even if we're not going to be perfect at it right away. So yeah, just thought I would share that with you guys, and hope y'all have a good day.